What's up, everybody? It's your 5-star realtor Joshua Ingram, partner with Paige Roberts team, broker by EXP. It's a brand new episode, second episode of the brand new podcast called the Dream Builders Podcast. We have a special guest, Jessica Neeley with Beach Insurance Group. How are you doing, Jessica?
Great, thank you for having me.
It is also an honor for you to be part of this group, and I don't want to miss out my mentor, Bradford Page, with Page Properties team. So today we're talking about insurance. How buyers, what do you think buyers need to know when it comes to insurance?
Great question. I think there's several things that buyers need to know about insurance when they're looking at properties to purchase. Mm-hmm. The first big one would be the age of the roof. Okay. That definitely affects insurance costs and premiums. And some insurance carriers will not insure a property if the roof is a certain age or too old. And typically that cutoff is 25 years. Some carriers will cover the property, but they'll exclude the roof. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is polybutylene piping, the plumbing pipes in the home. That comes up a lot. There's a lot of 80s built homes in this area, and so most carriers will not write polybutylene piping, and that's something that you need to be aware of when you're doing your home inspection when you are first looking at a property.
So how would that work, Jessica, if somebody didn't know there was polybutylene plumbing in there? 'Cause sometimes some inspectors are going to catch it, some won't. But if they don't know, then how would that impact that buyer?
So a couple of things. If we wrote the policy and it was found out later, the insurance company may non-renew the policy or do a 60-day cancellation saying that you have to find coverage elsewhere because this is not something that we cover. They do have to, by law, notify an insured a certain number of days. And so that's one way. If they found out, we could help them find maybe a contractor that could replace the piping in the home, depending on how it was done. It's very common now for plumbing to go through an attic with the PEX products that are on the market. So we would be happy to assist with that if that was an option for them. But there are carriers that will accept it. It's just we're going to have to go maybe excess and surplus lines, and the costs go up when we do that.
Have you ever had any companies deny a claim that would come out of a polybutylene issue?
In the last 7 years that I've been doing this, no, I have not, knock on wood. Okay. But that's not to say that it couldn't happen. If it's excluded in they exclude coverage for it in their policy form, they have every right to deny a claim if it came up.
Right. Okay, awesome.
So I have a question. Dealing with claims, right, for a buyer. So let's say that does the warranty comes with the claim, or is that separate?
Okay, so that's a really good question. A lot of people mix up home insurance and home warranties. Okay. Your home warranty actually covers the systems in your home up to typically a year. A warranty is usually a year. It can be included in the settlement statement and closing. That's very common now. Your home insurance covers against actual perils against the property. So we're thinking fire, lightning, water damage, a wind loss would be covered under the home insurance. But like if your dishwasher breaks, that is not covered under your home insurance, but may be covered under a home warranty.
Or your air conditioner would fail.
Yes, exactly. That's a common one we get. Yes, you are required as a homeowner to maintain those systems in your home, and maintenance is not covered under home insurance. So That's a great question.
Okay, cool. So there are two separate things. So let's go to sellers, right? Mm-hmm. So we're dealing with sellers. What are some problems that you have with sellers that they may not know?
So I would say around insurance with sellers, things to keep in mind. The condition of your property is going to affect the ability for you to sell, especially if there's an older roof on your home and someone can't get coverage for it. That's going to affect you as a seller because the goal is to sell your property as quickly as possible. Something else, prior claims, and were they repaired? And taken care of. You guys know as agents, like there's a seller's disclosure with your property when you sell it. Disclosing those things are important. Maintaining your systems, very important. Something else as a seller to note something like knob and tube wiring that might still be in the home. A lot of these homes downtown on fuses, those are going to affect your buyer's ability to obtain insurance. So if that's something that you can update before selling or putting it on your home on the market, highly recommend doing it.
Well, Jessica, you mentioned prior claims, and tell me a little bit about that and some of the issues of somebody filing a claim and maybe they never got paid for it because it wasn't enough. But how would that work, and how do you at Beach Insurance maybe handle things a little bit differently than if they went directly to a insurance company?
That's a great question. So the biggest thing is when you have an agent, you can call them and kind of talk through what's going on prior to filing the claim. Once you have filed a claim with a home insurance carrier, it's on there. It's on what's called your clue report, which is kind of the history of your property. And that stays on there for 5 years with most carriers and is a long time. So if it doesn't meet, if let's say you had like a small leak underneath a bathroom sink and it just damaged the vanity cabinet, we're talking maybe $1,000 repair to have a plumber out and fix it and replace the vanity, but your deductible is $2,500. It does not make sense to file that claim because now you have a claim out there. Zero will be paid because the insurance company doesn't meet your deductible.
Is it true if you call the insurance company that now they have a record of that claim, even if though you don't collect on it?
Yes. Even if you just inquire, they will put it in their system as a claim. Yes, absolutely.
So have an independent agent like Jessica who can make sure you get through this stuff and don't make a mistake.
Because one of the first things that we're going to look at when you call us, when you say you have damage in your home, is what is your deductible? What is that damage actually? Go obtain estimates prior to filing the claim, because that will determine, does it meet your deductible? Is it over your deductible? Does it make sense to file a claim? So we'll talk through those things when you make a phone call to me.
Perfect.
Okay, so making a claim, right? So let's say I am new to getting insurance, right? And I don't know about making a claim, but how is the process with Beach Insurance Group different from the other insurances in making a claim? And if I have a problem, how fast could y'all solve it? Because I know that some insurance, it goes through 2-week process and all this other stuff, but how are y'all different? Sorry.
So by calling me, I'm going to kind of walk you through some of those steps. So I would say the biggest problem is water, right? We're in a humid climate. Sometimes people do have older plumbing and it breaks. So first things first, you need to get the water turned off. A lot of people will call me in a panic, what do I do? Who do I call? So we need to find where the water is coming from and how to turn it off to the problem. You need to try and dry it out. Now, depending on how much damage you have, I have a pretty good idea when you call me. If your entire kitchen is flooded, we're talking cabinets, my initial recommendation is that we get a water mitigation company in there immediately to try and get it dried out and sucked out as quickly as possible. So it really depends on the situation, but I will walk you through some of that and kind of take some of the scare.
The pressure off.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's more you give me insurance, now you can help me through the process. Okay.
Yes, exactly. And I can help you through the entire process. If you're having a hard time getting a claims adjuster on the phone, I'm happy to make phone calls for you. My job as your agent is to be an advocate for you and to make sure that you are made whole again. That's why you pay for insurance.
That's awesome. So I don't mean to cut it short, but thank y'all for thank you for coming out here, Miss Jessica.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to ask, how can the people get in contact with you?
Thank you. So you can call my office in Pooler, 912-988-1826. We are licensed in Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. We do home, auto, and business insurance. So we'll be happy to help.
Thank y'all for tuning in to the Dreams Builders Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by the Page Properties team, the Dream ENT, Real Estate for a Reason, and Make Real Estate Fun Again. Be safe, and I'll catch you on the next episode.